through the back. So we creepin', caps are blue, so you know that we peeking in our bag for the night.
What's good, y'all? Welcome to another episode of 7 p.m. in Philly. I'm your host, Steve. And before we get into this episode now, I just want to remind y'all to like, subscribe. A lot of you is watching, but a lot of you guys are not subscribing. Remember to subscribe and like it. Leave comments too, man. I mean, it's okay. I mean, hey, yo, your episodes suck. Yeah, it's all right. Say that. I mean, or hey, yo, Steve, yo, this is what you need to work better on. Leave that. Say that. I mean, or whatever, how you feel, how to make the episode better. You know what I'm saying? Just leave that. Any feedback, positive feedback, negative feedback, it's all necessary. It makes it better. It makes it a better podcast for everyone. So, but all right. So with that being said, so this episode's a little different than every other episode. A lot of my episodes, I have a guest here with me, but today I don't. This episode is more of a question and answer, just on the topics and things that goes on in society nowadays, things that's been going on in my community, things that's just been going on, that's been on my mind on social media. I figured it'd be a good time to discuss it with all the craziness that's been going on in the world. So, with that being said, let's get into it. So let's go.
First and foremost, Steve, how you feeling?
I'm feeling good, man. You know, it's this podcast has been hard work, man. It's been hard work trying to get good content out to everybody. A lot of stuff has been going on in the world, and you know, I just built this platform so we can talk about different things and be real with the people.
All right, let's jump into it then, man.
Let's do it.
I want to hear your thoughts and your feelings towards Black people today.
Black people, that's a tough one, man. And I'm gonna be real vulnerable with y'all. I'm gonna be real honest and vulnerable with y'all. Like, I love Black people. Let's start that first and foremost. I love my people. I think Black people are really beautiful. I think we're the culture. I feel like we move America. I feel like we do so much for America, and we're underappreciated. But with that being said, I feel like we have so long to go. Black people, I feel like, the only time we come together is when there's outrage and when a white person does things to us. And I honestly feel like it shouldn't be that. I feel like as Black people, we should come together and when anybody gets killed, not only when a white person kills us, I feel like we're hypocrites in a lot of sense, because Bloods and Crips are killing each other every day and nobody's doing anything about it. There's no outrage. There's no marching in the street. I feel like as every Black person, every person's life, it should matter. But obviously what we see on the news and what we see today is that, Black folks are getting killed. My people are getting killed. And so that's why, I feel like, the Black Lives Matter movement was a big thing. It was because, that's all you've seen on TV, but it should matter all the time. Not only when a white person kills us, when anyone kills us. I feel like we need to do a better job at doing that and sticking together, build our own communities. It's funny to me, and I talk about this with my friends, that how come when you go to every other city, you see a Koreatown, you see Chinatown, you see a Jewish community. When you go to predominantly all the suburbs, it's mostly white people. But when you say Black people having our own, it's either the hood or the ghetto or somewhere that nobody really wants to be by choice. So I feel like, we need to come together and build our own communities, build our own banks, and do the things that that we should do to uplift our community and be better. You know, a lot of people don't know about Black Wall Street. You know, this was a community built for Black people to thrive. And I feel like, you know, we can rebuild that again. You know, if you don't know the story about Black Wall Street, I suggest everyone learn about it, to find out about it, because I just learned about it not too long ago, and it's very, very, very important that we learn where it was going and the things that took it there. And I feel like we can redo that again because we're smarter now. We have much more resources. We're stronger, and I feel like we have a better outlook on life now. And we can recreate that. It doesn't necessarily have to be just white people or Asian people or every other race besides Black people to have their own things. I feel like we definitely need to have our own things and create our own things. We do it with music. We do it with everything else. So why not create our own communities and have that? I feel like if we did have that, I think we would be respected more and looked at differently. So that's definitely my take. I can go on all day about this, but that's definitely my take on Black people. I love y'all, and I wish we could definitely do better and be better.
From that, a lot of those things that you mentioned are politicized nowadays and under this microscope of the government. So tell the people how you feel about politics.
Politics, man. I feel like politics are important. It's very important. But I feel like as a Black community, or even as a community in a sense, a lot of people, it doesn't have to just be Black people. I just feel like we don't know anything about politics. We don't know. We're not educated enough about politics. And I feel like that's the first part of it. We have to become more educated about politics. And I'm not just talking about the president, because a lot of people think that everything starts with the president. And that's false. Everything doesn't start with the president. Everything starts with the local ground. And myself included, you can go to people and ask them like, hey, who's your local councilman? Who's your local leader? Whoever you talk to in order to uplift your community. And people won't know. People will not know. And it's myself included. So I have to be, I'm not just here just telling you guys. We have to do a better job in educating ourselves regarding our community and regarding politics. We have to put these people in power, because when you see all the violence and all the stuff happening in our communities, the president can't do anything. He can give certain suggestions. He can throw money here to this local fund and this and that, whatever. But the local councilmen and the people that are in charge at the local level are the ones that really make the change. So I feel like we definitely have to learn more about politics, educate ourselves. And I feel like also the news has to also broadcast that, because I feel like when it's time to vote for the president, I feel like we get educated so much. Here's where to vote. Here's what time to vote. Here's the views on this and that. We get all that, but at the end of the day, does that really matter? It doesn't, because the stuff that's really going on, the stuff that really affects us as the people, the everyday average person, the president really doesn't control that. He can only but do so much. So I feel like we have to educate ourselves. The media has to help educate people also. And we have to push for that. That's something we have to fight for, because at the end of the day, we've been going through this rat race and this circle all the time. Something happens within our community. We go to the president. Oh, the president's not doing it. But he can only but do so much. He's worrying about the world. He's worrying about everything. So at the end of the day, we have to go to our local leaders and demand more from them. And I bet you I bet you if we go to them and demand more and they don't do it, and we're educated enough to be like, oh, you know what? You don't want to vote. You don't want to clean up our community, clean up the guns, the drugs, and all the stuff that's going on, build more libraries, pools, safe places for our kids to go to. All right, you know what? We're not going to vote for you anymore. I bet you they clean it up. I bet you they clean it up. But at the end of the day, we don't know. So we can't change what we don't know. So I think it's a big part, myself included, all of us, that we become more educated on our local politics and make a change.
One of the biggest topics in this whole political scope for the past several years has been guns and gun reform, and all that gun laws. So talk to me about your views on guns and how you think the government can move forward amicably with guns.
I think guns are one of the most disgustingest, horrible thing ever created to man. And let's break it down like basics. Like, imagine you as a person and you got to go kill multiple people and you had to do it with a knife. The reason why people go in with guns, AR-15s to be exact, it's because they know they're going to be able to slaughter a large amount of people in a short amount of time. And the odds of someone stopping you is just next to none. You see someone pull out an AR-15 and it's kind of like, all right, I'm running. I know I can't combat with this. But if you see someone's pulled out a knife, you mean it's kind of like, all right, well, how many people you'll be able to take down? You're not a samurai, So honestly, I think guns are horrible, man. Like, I'm not a big gun person because I think they do more damage to our communities and to our people than good. And I feel like no one wants to take accountability for guns. And, and every time something happens, it's not the guns, it's the people. It's not the guns, it's the people. This has been going on for years and nothing has changed. So how about we try to change something and see what happens? I feel like our government and people, they just, they find everything else to blame besides the guns. And you know what we do? We give each other more guns. More guns. The answer is more guns. So for me, it's just kind of like, I feel like we need to, ban AR-15s. Because I don't see any good coming out of it. You don't need it for hunting. You don't need it for everyday life. You don't need it at all. So I feel if you're not someone of authority, cop, armed forces, you shouldn't have an AR-15. There's no reason to be selling this type of weapon. Every mass shooting you've seen, 9 out of 10 times, 9.5 out of 10 times, it's an AR-15. It's the same weapon every time. And it just kind of makes you feel like nobody cares. It's kind of like, you know what? This is going to keep happening. This AR-15 we're just going to keep selling it. And it's kind of like, well, whatever. So I do feel like the government needs to start there, but I feel like it's bigger than us. It's all about money. Because you watch these NRA shows and the people are sitting there talking about, hey, my 2-year-old is gonna have a weapon, and I'm just kind of like, yo, man, like, you got to ask yourself, are these people in touch with reality? And it also makes me think that these things are not happening to their kids. So since it's not happening to their kids, why care? Why do we give a shit? So I do think it starts where, we need to definitely reform guns. Obviously, we're too deep in to remove guns and get rid of that. So I'd be a lunatic. I would sound stupid to be like, yeah, just get rid of all. No. But let's start off getting rid of AR-15s, and, obviously doing better background searches, changing the age of, being able to carry a weapon or purchase a weapon. And let's do the mental health also. I feel like, that's one of the first things they go to. They go to mental health, be like, oh, well, this person was suffering from mental. Yeah, let's do both. Let's stop blaming each side. Oh, it's not the guns. Oh, it's mental health. Oh, it's mental health is the gun. How about we do both? How about we meet in the middle and we do both and we try to figure it out that way? And if these leaders, if any of them were to ever see this, I want them to know, like, it's real out here. Like, people are really dying. People are really losing their lives, and change needs to happen sooner than later. So that's my take on that.
Yeah, you mentioned a couple things. It's not happening to their children.
Absolutely.
But it is happening to children.
Absolutely.
And the big talk has been teachers having guns. So tell your viewers about your feelings towards teachers getting guns inside of these schools where these mass shootings are happening.
I feel like teachers, and I know a lot of teachers have so much to deal with. And if you have kids, you will understand that. If you spend 24/7, 7 days a week with your child, and I know parents, I'm a parent, your kids drive you up the wall. They drive you crazy. And throughout the school year, the teachers spend most of the time during the day with your child. And your child, you know what they do? They test them. Because you know why? They're not their parents. So you're telling me someone who has, some classes have 25 kids? Some classes have 17 kids, 15 kids. Even in some schools, they have 30 kids in a classroom. So you're telling me I have to be a guardian, a parent figure like, be a authority figure like, be a therapist figure like, to 30 or 20 or more kids every day, and now you want me to carry a gun to play police officer? No. I think that's excuse my word, that's fucking crazy for you to say, hey, teachers, on top of doing all this stuff that you do for kids every day, and shout out to you guys. You guys don't get the respect that you deserve. So that's why I think this is fucking crazy. To give you a gun and say, hey, now you have to really protect these kids. If a shooter comes in, now you have to shoot this shooter or try to kill the shooter or take down the shooter. That's not a teacher's job. It's not. That's not what teachers go to school for. It's not what they dream of. Dreaming of, you know what, I'm going to be a teacher. I'm going to teach these kids the proper way of life, giving them a step ahead, giving them a tool to carry. Not like, I got to play police officer. That's one part of it. But then you don't even pay these teachers. Some of these teachers don't even make enough money to be able to just have just that one job and just be a fucking teacher. They don't have that. Some teachers work multiple jobs. They have to buy supplies for the kids. Sometimes they buy lunch for the kids. But then now you want them to carry they deal with so much. I think it's ridiculous. I think it's stupid and asinine for you to tell a teacher straight to their face, like, hey, here's a gun. And then it just leads to so much different things. What if a teacher's having a bad day now? What if a teacher's suffering from a mental illness? Then what? And they decide, like, you know what? I want to kill the students. Now you're just adding another element to a problem already. That's just insane. It doesn't make sense. Or what if a student is beating up a teacher? You see it on the news all the time. Students fighting a teacher, punching a teacher in the face. It happens every day. So now that teacher, you know what? The only way I can defend myself, the only way I know how to defend myself, I have a gun. Now that's an option. Instead of fighting off the student, you know what? I can't. The student is bigger than me. I don't know what to do. I'm going to shoot the student. You just add more things to an already bad situation. Because I bet you 9 out of 10 times you're going to see that. That's going to happen. A big student, 6-foot student beating up a teacher, and the teacher's like, you know what? There's nothing I can do. I had to fend for myself. I got to make it home to my family. So what? I'm going to shoot the student. I can see this going left. I don't think that's the proper way of going about it. If you want to have security guards at the school that are armed, I think that's maybe a better route. Or you just hire police officers. The government pays for all this type of different stuff all the time. We pay for wars. We pay for nonsense all the time. So why not pay for, public schools or schools to have, police officers at their school, multiple, 2, 3, if that, you know what I mean? I don't think that makes a difference. I don't think that, I think that doesn't make a difference with the regular community. I mean, some of the times, you see the police officer, they're not doing anything anyways. No shade against them, but, at least they're being pushed towards a better cause. Hey, protect these kids. Make sure these kids go home. Because and a lot of police officers, they'll be like, you know what? Okay. Because they have those same kids are their kids going to those schools. So they'll be gladly to be like, you know what? I'm willing to put my life on the line to protect these kids because my kid goes there. I think that's a better approach than giving fucking teachers a gun and saying, hey, here you go. On top of all the things you have to deal with, here's a gun. Protect these kids. So I do think that's a horrible idea. I don't think it's fair to them. And I think there's other solutions to take care of this matter. So, but that's my take on that.
Yeah, it's deeply rooted, man. In your opinion, then, how can we improve, access to education, healthcare, other essential services for, the members of our society? Because people are very complicated beings. And it's not that simple, and I feel like it's multifaceted. So tell your viewers about that.
I just think that as for me, it's like, number one, I feel like as a taxpayer citizen, we don't know where our money goes to. I feel like part of our funds and our money that we pay for taxes needs to go towards healthcare and really helping our people. I feel like our money goes towards a bunch of different things that we have no idea where it goes to. I feel like we should know where our money goes to, and it starts with that. And we should be able, I think we should be able to know where or say where we can place that money. I do feel like healthcare should be free. I don't understand why health can't be free. Like these doctors, these hospitals, they make millions and millions of dollars. These pharmaceuticals make millions and millions of dollars. But it's greed. Greed has taken over this world and this country. It doesn't stop. So I do feel if we take some of this money away and we allocate it towards the people that actually need it, it'll work. It'll work. There's no reason if we can't put our heads together to decide like, hey, these are where the funds are going to. There's no reason why we can't have free healthcare. We can't tackle mental illness. We can't tackle all the stuff like people out here being hungry. I mean, the homeless, all that. Like, I don't see why we can't tackle that. And I feel like the taxpayers' money, you and I feel like that's where our money should go. And I think it starts there. And there's no real answer to it. because you'll say this and someone will say that. But at the end of the day, let's be for real. Let's be honest here. America could afford it. That's when we boil it down to it. America can afford it. People make millions of dollars. There's $1 billion going around all day, every day. When it's time to pay for a war, to send Ukraine all this money, we magically find it. It comes from nowhere. But we're in this deficit and, the debt ceiling and all this jazz and all that, $1 trillion, all this bullshit. But we find the money. It comes from somewhere. So if we can find the money for that, we can find the money for healthcare and amongst other things that we can go on about all day long. So the money's there. There's no solving it. There's no real answer to it. The money is there. And don't tell me America doesn't have it. So that's, to make the long story short, the money's there. America has it. America can do it. They just don't want to do it. That's what it boils down to. They don't want to do it, so they won't do it. And people will continue dying. People will continue getting sick, and nothing will change. And we'll go around this fucking circle all day. So, yeah.
Not only is the money there, the technology is there. Right?
Absolutely.
So talk to us about how in your opinion, how has technology changed the way that we interact and communicate with one another?
I think technology has its good things about it. We're able to connect with each other on a broader scale. We're able to connect with someone from one part of the world that we wouldn't be able to do before. But I also think that technology has handicapped us. We're no longer able to speak. We're no longer able to interact with each other in a social setting. Just being a guy, I feel like as a guy, like guys can't talk to women anymore. And women can't talk to men anymore. I feel like, we hide behind these phones and social media and all these objects besides of just being a regular person, and I feel like I thank God that I was born during the time where I know what it feels like to not have a cell phone, to leave the house and no one knows where I'm at. They may know, but they don't have an actual idea where I'm at, and I have to actually fend for myself and be an adult. I feel like social media has taken that away from us. I feel like we're not able to discuss the things and be open with each other the way we used to be. I feel like social media has made people, in a sense, awkward. Like, we're awkward now. we're handicapped. We're weird. Like, if you tell a person like, hey, I'm going to call you, they look at you crazy. Back in the day, like if you wanted to talk to a girl, you would have to speak to her parents first. You would have to call her out. Hey, Mrs. Smith, is Jessica home? Hi, good evening. You would have manners. You'd be, hey, good evening, good afternoon, or good morning. Can I talk to Jessica? But now we don't do that. We can't do that because we're fucking handicapped. We're weird. Someone says, oh, yo, you're going to call me. No. Or someone calls you and automatically you get anxiety because it's just so foreign to pick up the phone and actually have a conversation. And I actually think the world would be a better place if you actually got on the phone or just had a conversation. Because I feel like people hide behind the technology, and you're texting, things could become misconstrued. Someone's saying one thing and it could be another. And I feel like it leads to a lot of like discrepancies. I feel like it leads to a lot of tension because people are so afraid to actually talk with one another. I feel like technology, it's a gift and a curse, honestly. We love it. I love it. But at the same time, I feel like we need to bring back some normalcy and some old ways, in a sense, in order to bring back to have some authenticity in our lives and in our families, because I feel like social media and all of that has taken away from that, and that's due to technology. So that's my part in it. But we can go about this shit all day. I mean, there's a thousand things, but that's just the short of it, though.
You kind of touched on the next question, because you grew up without social media.
Right.
And now social media is such a big part of people's lives, especially if you're running a podcast or some type of entertainment service. So how do you feel about social media? Just talk to us about how you feel about social media.
Wow. It's fucking horrible. Social media is horrible. I feel like we've lost our identity. We live in a culture where everything is piggybacked. Like, oh, this person does this. Oh, I'm going to do that. Like, the amount of dumb shit that we see on social media every day. Like the other day, someone sent me a video and the girl was wearing that big red stupid shoe and she was kicking a guy in the nuts. She was kicking him in the nuts. Like, so for me, it's just kind of like, how is that like content? How is that creative content? Like, I feel like it's rare, and I feel like a lot of people, they're not authentic. They don't make good content. It's just, oh, this person does this, I'm going to do that. And I'm not just to say, okay, well, this person does a podcast, I'm going to do a podcast. Nah, everyone could do a podcast, but, do something different. Talk about something different. Talk about something else. Like, I get that. But just the brainless nonsense that we see every day, and, it's just horrible, man. And, like, the insecurities from people. Like, social media, like, dictates your relationship. People base social media off of a relationship. Like, my relationship is not going good or the way I want it to go because of social media. Social media told me that my relationship sucks. Why? Because, my boyfriend doesn't do this. Or my boyfriend doesn't buy me that. Or my boyfriend doesn't pay all the bills. You mean, like, no one thinks for themselves. Everything on social media. Like, no one can think for themselves. I wish social media wasn't around. Like, yes, does it have some good perks to it? It does. But at the same time, I think social media has done more harm than good to our society. We get too much access to people. We get too much access. Like, I was talking to my homie, and we were talking about, basketball, for instance. Like, a show would come on, Inside the NBA would come on, or Inside Stuff would come on Saturdays. We get that little tidbit of that player's life, and that would be that. And we would have to wait next week for it. Cool. We're excited, cool. But now, all we have to do is log into Twitter, Instagram, Google, and boom. We get everything. If you want to know what toothpaste this guy uses, we will know. We will know everything. There's no more of like, you know what? Like, hey, let's wait till next week. It's just everyone just overindulges, and we spend hours and hours and hours behind the screen learning about someone who probably doesn't give two shits about us. I mean, like, who's rich, who's a millionaire. Like, we care about so much of these celebrities' lives. Like, you can ask a person and be like, hey, yo, Just the most simplest question, like, hey, yo, you know how to do this, or do you know how to drive, or do you know, what's this from, or hey, who's the first president, or who's this and that. They won't know. But I bet you they know what Kim Kardashian was wearing. I bet you they know what this rapper was doing. I bet you, like, it's just kind of like, yo, we focus too much on the shit that doesn't really matter. Like, people really, like, look at social media and just kind of like, oh my God, they're in awe with these people. And then the real reality of the truth of that is 90% of that shit, it's not real. It's fucking fake. But that's social media. So.
Last thing, man, I want to circle back and, kind of finish this off strong, because I feel like this is the most important part, especially when we talk about the betterment of society. How can the people and the police, or the leaders of the society, like, how can we come together to bridge this gap?
Wow. With this one here, I'm really passionate about this, and I say this all the time. If you're a community leader, if you're a police officer, we need to see you. You need to be in these places. You need to be within the community. Not when it's time for re-election. Not when it's time to, help to find out a murder. Not when it's time to find out, just the most, when you need help to do your job. And that's the thing and I'll say about police officers. And I'm not bashing them. And I will not say we do not need police officers. You guys do an amazing job. We need you. You guys put your lives on the line. So I will not be here saying, hey, you know what? Fuck the police. No, I will not say that. But what I will say that you guys need to be amongst the community. You guys should just drive around and chill at Wawa and Dunkin' Donuts. And I'm not bashing y'all for that, but that's where y'all at. Y'all chill inside of Target. I see y'all inside of Target. No. Walk around the community. Talk to people. Hey, how's your day going? Hey, what's going on? Then people will be more inclined to talk to you when a murder happens or when a robbery happens. You know why people don't talk to you guys? Because we know that you're not there for our betterment. You're not there you don't really care what's really going on in our lives. You're doing your job and you're going home. Come out. Come hang out with us. Come sit down and talk to us. Make the people realize that you're just as human as us. Because you are. Once you take that badge off, you're just as black and white and everything else just like the rest of us. Walk around these communities. Talk to these kids. Talk to the adults. Make them realize and see who you really are. Don't just show your face when something bad happens. Show your face when something good happens. Because there are some officers that show up all the time. The community leaders know their name. They play basketball with the kids. And I'm not saying, to do all that, but it starts somewhere. The little things. You don't never see a cop walking anymore. Either they're on their bike doing their bike patrol, and 9 or 10 times it's by force. They, end of the month, hey, guys, bike patrol, go around the bad neighborhoods and see what's going on, boom. But you never see a cop just walking down the street, just to walk down the street, say good morning. We don't do that. So the people are scared of you. The kids are scared of you. The community's scared of you because we don't know who you really are. But I bet you show your face, you come amongst the people, you share your opinions, I bet you'll have a different community. And the community will serve you better and will love you more and will show compassion and understand that you're just as human as us. But until that happens, you're just going to be another cop.